Good morning, everybody. We're carrying on with our rating ladder climb. Just turn off the thing that goes ping. What am I? 11:36. We're going to carry on, and I think I'm just going to stick with my normal kind of repertoire. Okay, so we've got the white pieces. Opponents rated 1197, a little bit higher than us. And I'm going to play the Vienna. My first love. Okay. Bishop c4 is normal here. If they copy us, we get into the very fun line after queen g4. But we'll see what happens. There we go. Queen g4. Now, you've got to fix your eyes on that pawn on d7 now. The number of times they've moved that pawn. Okay, this can't be good. I win the pawn, I fork the rook and the knight. There's no way for the bishop to come in and help. That's got to be a blunder. Hasn't it? Yes, the rook can go here, but then I just take the knight. The rook can win a pawn, then I take this pawn, I guess. Oh no, in fact, yes. This is quite dangerous. Of course, I can't take the pawn immediately and give checkmate because the knight guards, but the knight can be removed. What? Queen out? Are you kidding me? Okay, well, check there. Knight can't block. I check there. King comes out. I have another check with the knight. Am I worried about this? Not really. The big idea with this line is that the queen guards this pawn, right? I mean, there's a few ideas going off. I don't know whether taking the rook is the right thing, because it's so spicy, all of this. Can I just hit the queen? Hit the queen. Actually, the queen just has to retreat. Do I win that with check? King's going to go here. I do have another check. Okay, so the king can't go on the back rank there. He's in check. Can't go here. Let's see where we get with this. Okay, now. This is not mate, because I have king d1. And my bishop guards the f1 square. That's also the whole point. Okay. I think my only check is this now. And this will bring the king out. Sasha. I'm going to throw that in. Don't know if I'm doing this right, but I am up a rook. Okay, I have another check, potentially winning another rook. Well, I also have this. Is that mate? Knight blocks. Knight blocks or bishop blocks. This would be nice. That would be mate. But the queen guards, so g3. Queen has to go here. Queen can't go there because it's mate, so she has to go there, right? Definitely not awake yet today. But this is such a fun line. Because that is checkmate if the queen vacates the defensive there. So she can't stay there, she can't go there. Oh, whoa. Wow. Huh. I'll go here. If you just take the rook, it is mate, yeah? But she's also hitting the bishop. That doesn't matter. As long as I don't put my king on here, because then queen takes bishop comes with check, right? So, can I go there? You can take the rook or the bishop, but you get checkmated. No, because the knight's not defended. King can take the knight. this is insane. What an insane line. This is not what you want first thing in the morning, eh? Okay, she's taken the rook. No, now this is mate, yes? Oh my god. Oh my lord, right. If the queen had taken the bishop there on the previous move, would have been alright. Let's have a look at the review. Whew. 91! Boom! Boom! And it's given me a 1700 from an 1145 starting point. And that is a blunder. Okay, good. We capture. Queen out. We take the rook. Good. Oh, it's given my opponent 350. That's not very nice. He did try. King here. Knight in check. Perfect. And now that's the way to win a queen. Even better, hit the queen with the knight, allowing this, king d1. It's a mistake. Best move, queen takes bishop, surely. Yes. Queen takes bishop. And now you see after this, the king takes d5. It is forced, and white is still actually slightly better. But how wild is that? All right, let's do another one. Okay, so we're 1145. Got a 1200 rated opponent now. Got a dozy 1200 rated opponent from Iran. Come on, Kareem, let's go. Let's do this. Boo. Alright, we've got an 1117 and we're playing the Vienna again. And we've got the Sicilian, so we're going Smith-Morra Gambit. By the way, huge shout out to Jonathan Trance, who posted a video a few hours ago saying he's at least taking a big break from chess, if not quitting the game. One of my absolute favourite content producers. Absolute Gambit god. Okay, so let me just think about this game. So big love to you, Jonathan. I'm sure you're not watching this, but big shout out anyway. Okay. Okay, this Fianchetto line, I think we can play bishop out. I think that's correct. Other than that, it's just going to be normal development. Okay, get the knight out. You can take on there. He never will. He'll be a fool. Right, okay, here comes the knight. This knight comes out, I have e5. Okay, e6, this is a normal move. Let's get the queen out of the way. This is a possibility. Pawn blocks is not good for black's position, for his setup. Knight blocks, I guess we can still do that. The knight's then pinned. Knight, bishop here. Yeah. It's a pin, and that's an asset for me. Coffee. Oh, gickety doodah, right. I think we can come back to here. This is a defended square. It blocks the queen's defense of e4. If here, you're never going to push again, are you? No, let's. I dare you. Okay, so he's now created a weakness here. This pawn is now defended by the bishop. Previously, it would have been defended by the king. So that could be a target later on. This knight is still pinned. Can I put pressure on the knight? Not really. So I'm thinking rook fd1. It's a normal Mora move, lining up with the queen. Pinning this pawn. Means this pawn is not defending this pawn. This bishop looks blunted right now, but it's biding its time. If they ever come after the bishop, you just drop back to b3. Okay. There's a couple. You've got knight a4. Knight a4 hits the queen and defends b2, but does put the knight somewhat out of action. In fact, my queen's defending that pawn, so I don't really need to stress right now. Knight a4 then hits the queen, but knight's going away from the action. Not sure about that. Actually, if the knight moves, the bishop's also looking at there. So maybe rook ab1. Anyway. Notice the knight's no longer pinned either. But now this knight is defended only by this knight. So if somehow I can persuade this knight to move along. That doesn't work. a4, a5 maybe. Takes, removes the knight. Does that help me? Another option is just to pull the bishop back, actually. That's kind of simple. At least now my bishop's on a protected square as well. That's no bad thing. I've got eyes on that, it's defended only by the bishop. I've got eyes on this, it's defended only by the knight. So these aren't weaknesses as such on black's side, they are just things to take note of. So I have a completely open file on the C file, which is calling out for a rook to take up residence. I think my bishop belongs back here now, looking at all these nice squares. 4 good squares in my opponent's half. I mean, this ain't bad right now. That move I don't really understand. Not immediately. Can be attacked. Maybe my knight can come in, find an outpost. Here. Bishop and knight. What is the meaning of this? But again, I don't really want to send this horse away from the king. That's not the general idea. I'm just going to play this move. You're not going to do that, no. No, I'm just going to bring the bishop back here. I know it's kind of slow. I'm a pawn down, so what I need to be doing is attacking. But something like this, and I've got a very real target on h6. Okay, I could actually gum up his position quite good there. Now I'm really attacking that. I mean, king h7 is possible. I know it's not clear what to do. Who's not doing much work? I mean, my rook could come out. But my feeling is the attack on this is... Right here doesn't work. Okay, let's do this. h4, h5? Okay, this merits some thought. That knight is actually only defended once. He had two eyes on it. but it would mean giving up his fianchetto bishop. So this closes stuff down. If I take here, there could be all kinds of bloodshed. But I do open up the bishop. See, this bishop could be strong. Right now it's not. I feel like if I close the position, this bishop is entombed. So from a positional perspective, I think we just have to open things up. And we're playing the Mora, for goodness sake. Okay, so it's got 1, 2, 3 defenders on that pawn. I have 1, 2, 3 attackers, so it doesn't actually make sense for me to capture now. Notice still, this knight is defended only once. So this knight's actually not moving. One of the defenders is that knight on e7, so do we push forward with this? Then there's a fork. That's not very nice. This pawn is also isolated. It's worth noting. I don't like this queen. Bishop back, could just threaten to win a pawn. Bishop back, queen in front doesn't make sense because I'm not going to sack the queen on h6. This is just a cheapo. But, you know, a pawn is a pawn. I feel like I need to do something with this rook as well, though. Am I worried about the advance of this pawn? There he takes. I haven't got enough on it. I do queen here, threatening this. I'd like a rook on the e-file as well. I've got 2 open files and I haven't got rooks on either of them. Here and the pawn advances. Can always come in there. That's quite a nice square. Or bishop here. Bishop here, he's got to take evasive action. Yeah? Might not be the best move. I can take that. It's defended by the bishop now, even though it's no longer defended by the rook. My opponent's been playing a lot quicker than me. My knight does actually have this square as well, defended by the queen. That's impossible. Hey buddy, come and lie down, mate. This might be his longest think so far. 25 seconds was his previous record. So this is the threat, obviously. Double attack. Also got 2 attackers on this knight. If I take on d5. Is this also a threat? Queen's still got 2, 3 good squares. This is better. I mean, that move takes away those 2 squares from the queen. So this, queen goes back there. I could even trade favourably with doubled isolated A pawns. And of course I win my pawn back. And maybe a knight. If I trade queens, I can't win the knight. If the queen goes there, I kind of need to trade queens, because my queen will be undefended after this move. So he's having a right good think now. I feel like I've turned a little bit of a corner this week. Very often it's something about the way that you approach the game, your kind of demeanour and attitude towards the game, rather than technical know-how, that makes the biggest difference in performance. So there's two things, right? There's the know what and the know how. So it's like your knowledge of the game, principles, patterns, all that kind of stuff, even opening theory and whatever. And then there's the ability to deliver on that over the board. And I'm someone who's really fascinated in the mental side of mental performance. How can we get squeeze the most out of the grey matter? And he's disappeared now for 3 minutes. He's taken over this. Hope he's not gone. So yeah, that's why we get our performances in a bell curve, and the bell curve represents the span of your performance. It's centered on your ability, and sometimes we play right up at the limits of what we can do, and sometimes we play a lot worse. And most of the time we play in the middle. That's why it's a bell curve. Where's he gone? Don't drop out on me, Dulek. I think this position is pretty good for white. Still a pawn down. We've definitely got a target there. We've got a weak, isolated queen's pawn here. Bishop still undeveloped. No reason why that can't just fly out. Look at this bishop as well. You see how the board does open up. So you've got to remember about bishops. They can just sit back and wait for the smoke to clear. And then they can be evil without doing anything at all. And this bishop has moved twice, and it could prove to be a decisive piece. But I think it was the correct decision to trade here in the centre. So I'd be interested to know about the computer's view of this. But it's like everything about the fact that we are in a gambit mindset. But particularly, I think from a positional perspective, making life good for this bishop that is lined up with the king. If we'd have just pushed here and blocked up the e-file, black's not obligated to push the f-pawn at any time, but just want to sit there and sit tight for the rest of the game. My bishop then would have to find something else to do. It'd have to come back here, maybe target this, you know. But after takes, and anyway, I think he's gone, unfortunately. I'm sure I haven't played this too accurately, but it does feel, you know, it feels active for white. My king has, I think, arguably better safety than black's king, with my knight guarding h2. His knight's slightly displaced there and defended only by its buddy, which is, of course, a risk. And I think maybe it's pretty even. I don't think white's a pawn worse. I think we have some compo. Oh! Well, 6.5 minutes, I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, let's have a quick look at the review. I'm fascinated. How did we play? Wow, actually white was doing... Okay, right, okay, so blunder at the end. But, I mean, that's close. It's put me at 13 and him at 11, which is about right. Okay, best move, knight f3. Okay. Best move here. Wow. It was early intent. Don't tend to remember that idea. Yeah, it says the opening was balanced, and definitely is. But white's nearly 2 pawns here. He should have done d6 here. And I got a miss. What did I miss? Don't know. Show me. Okay, yeah, it's when the e-pawn moves it creates this hole. Yeah. And obviously if you can drop your knight in there, king has to move. You might even secure the knight with e5. Okay, but so now it's back down to evens. Bishop g5 is good. This was another square that we considered. I looked at both of those. I went for the pin, but it's only 0.3 of a pawn in it. h4 is good. Again, dropping back to f4. This is not a sparkling Mora game by any stretch. That's inaccurate. Wow. Bold move. I mean, preparing to double up already. Against his backwards pawn as well, though. Dropping this pawn, potentially. And not defending this knight. So what if takes here? Oh no. It's defended by the queen. So, yeah. Off the road. We are now 11:52 and we've got black, finally. Okay, so playing normal stuff. And we have a Spanish. Okay, we're going Danish Gambit or Schliemann defense. This is known for being spicy. That's kind of on the timid side. I think I can take here. Notice we've still got this Spanish idea of removing the defender of this pawn. Queen f6 is playable. 53. Takes and we're hitting the knight. The knight will can't just capture there. Takes. I think I'll probably just develop my knight. Okay. My knight defends this, but it can be removed. So, d6 actually is a thought, but you really want to get your bishop out first. Again, I can't remember any theory. What about d6 now? Just solidify. I mean, I've got two central pawns. White doesn't. The knight's still on this diagonal, so there's no threat of queen h5 check just yet. So if I push, he's not taking. He's going to try and develop. Bishop out isn't scary. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'll think about doing something with the bishop later. Okay, traded off. I don't really approve of that. White had a really good active piece out on the board, and a pin, and has just cashed it in. Cheap. Pennies on the dollar for that bishop. Okay, so I can return the favour. I can give a pin here. I can develop my knight. My bishop's probably going to come here. So let's do the pin here first. Probably castles. And we should be fine. Notice I've got 4 pawns on these 3 files, whereas they only have a couple. Okay, now I'm going to try and trade off my bad bishop. If he takes, is it queen or knight? Thinking queen. If I take with the knight. find its way here in 3 jumps, but my knight can still go there in 3 jumps anyway. Defends his pawn, but no one can really attack that pawn. The queen can't attack it. There. So that's the question. Which of these 2 squares do I want my knight on? Right? Do I want to be guarding dark squares or light squares? Got a light squared bishop. If the queen's going to come and try and attack, let's say I do end up castled, then it might be this diagonal that's going to be used. Now I'm going to take with the queen, because I think knight on here, at least I'm attacking this undefended pawn. Okay, that's broken the pin on the knight, and it defends the pawn. So I think knight f6 is just really natural. My bishop's still got plenty of room to move. This pawn is undefended, but it can be defended by bishop, by queen, even by king. And king d7 here is not necessarily a stupid idea. Okay, now he's defending the knight again. I think just castles now, yeah. So my big imbalance in my favour, I think, is this central pawn mass. Okay, that's a cheeky little check. Oh, and it forks this. Well done. Okay. But I have this. Pawn takes, queen defends that, knight defends this. Can't go wrong. Oh, gives up that, but now I've got double eyes on this. It is actually defended twice though. Queen and knight. So if here, but if here and knight takes, I can then capture there for free, can't I? Although actually my knight is the defender of this pawn. So there, knight takes, pawn takes, hits the knight. I've won my pawn back, haven't I? But do I want to give up this bishop? If I take, knight takes. Also, there's a discovery on here. Takes, knight takes. Takes, knight takes, pawn takes. Queen can't take back. I'm hitting the knight, unless he captures the g2, which would be inadvisable. He's going to take back. Okay, now this is a free pawn. If I take with a knight, it actually hangs this pawn with check. So if I take, knight could come here, it can't go there. So I've won my pawn back, so we've kind of eliminated our central pawn block now with that, giving up that pawn. Which is a good move by white. Well spotted. Might like to tuck my king away in the corner. Okay, 2 attackers on this pawn. If I allow him to take, we trade knights, let's say. Queen here gives up this pawn. Then I can take there. Here you take. There's no checkmate threat. I take, breaking up these pawns on the queen side. My pawns are actually very weak, which is unusual. Knight here. He takes. Takes. Threatens this. Let's do it. He's got a check there, doesn't really do anything. Don't want to blunder your queen. My queen defends here. And I'll probably take this. I could take here though. No, I can't. Not if their queen's there. It's super sharp. But white has just very solid pawns. On the downside, they haven't made any progress up the board, but my pawns have made some progress up the board, but they're super weak. Okay. There. We might get a repetition. He can win that pawn actually though, can't he? That, here, wins the pawn, king goes back. But he's got a free pawn anyway if he wants it at some point, probably. He can also just win this pawn now. There, rook takes, queen takes. Okay, so he's cashed in there. Now I can't take on here. Rook A8. He can't come in there now because I just take. This is undefended. That is defended by the queen, defended by the rook. And I'm a pawn down. And I have 3 isolated pawns. So I'm definitely in a worse position. But where's this queen going to go? Is she going to stay defending this? Well, how does she do that? Alright. Is it threatening this? I don't know. Knight comes in, I come here. I think this is good. King G8. Queen takes here. Rook A8. Queen moves. I could maybe play this. Or I can just win this pawn now. No reason not to. I'm still a pawn down. Now, is it just time to try and force the issue with the e-pawn? White's played a solid game so far. Okay. Alright, what is that? I still have this idea. If queen goes here, we trade off. No. This puts 3 attackers on this pawn. Queen here as well might be an idea. So a knight first. Just threatening to take. Rook can't take because we come in. There's also a possibility of queen c7 with this threat. So if he pushes here, for example, I can eliminate my maybe even just push on, actually. Pushing on might be the correct thing to do. It's quite well defended, actually. Okay, this rook now is trapped. Let it be noted. Okay, so he's got a second attacker on there. If I just drop my queen back, I'm threatening mate. He can't defend with a knight, so he's going to have to push a pawn, I think. And is that a good thing? There, so g3. What do I just... If I take here, actually, that's defended, so... Got two defenders on there for the moment. Could drop my queen, can't drop her there. Right. For the minute, I've got my pawn back. I'd love to do a discovery. Put my queen on this square or one of these two. If I take him, he's got this, that, mate. Ah! Was that a really good move then? I give check and pawn takes. I give check, pawn takes. I take rook. Rook takes I can take here, but he's got king takes as well. There, pawn takes. Rook takes f8, king takes f8. My queen also has to defend this knight. This is my worry. If I take here, this is a forced win. Check, I have to take and then it's mate. Classic puzzle. But if I move my queen away, in fact he's got three attackers now on there, so that was a blunder on my part, wasn't it? Definitely. Here, takes as well. So I'm kind of snookered. Yeah, I think I buggered this one up. Let's revisit this idea. I mean, I'm just going to lose the knight. Aren't I? I take here, get mated. If I move the knight anywhere, I get mated in two. Apart from, I think that's the only move that's like in any way half playable, because it's forcing it comes with check, and I'm going to do that probably on my next turn. That was interesting. So he's going to take, I think I have to trade here, but it's a horrendous position. I am a pawn down as well. I'm just about to give up my knight. The opponent is really thinking now. Okay, we've taken. Alright, now I could just move the rook out the way. I have 2 attackers on this knight, it's defended only once, but I can't take, because that's mate. So 2 options, move the rook out of the way, which does make sense when you're down in material. I don't have a check there, or here. So I think I kind of have, I think I have to do this. Got to watch out for potential smothered mate as well, but I have queen here. Now I am actually threatening to win the knight. So what's he going to do? Defend the knight. Notice this square is now covered twice as well. Not holding out much hope here, guys, for this game. Alright, so that's undefended. So let's come down here and attack it. Oh, the rooks are facing off. So he has an extra knight, but his extra pawn doesn't really count, because these 2 guys are going to be so slow trying to get up the board. Alright. Going to take with the rook. Still threatening this. I also have still no checks with the queen. Yeah, I've got myself in an impossible position here through miscalculation, really. If the knight moves, the queen defends this h3 pawn. Well, I just take now. I'm sure I can. Also now the knight is pinned because the queen's undefended there. The rook should come off the back rank. I actually can give check here, king here, queen there, and nope. Queen there though. Nope. We'll see. Cross that bridge if we come to it. Okay, I'm a full knight down now. I've connected pawns, my opponent's pawns are on the opposite edges of the board. You should be able to use this knight effectively here. Pin h5, h4. But it ain't pretty, is it? Bit off more than I could chew in this video. Going for the 3. Okay, so he's pinned this pawn on g7. Think so. I mean, he's got to find a way to win, and I think it's probably pushing the a-pawn. It's probably what he should be doing. I have a check square now, but queen can block. Be nice to get my queen on there, actually. Maybe I should have thought about this move. And the rook is actually defended by the queen, though, so the king only has to move, so it's a tough one. Now, if this was a blitz game with 30 seconds left, I might fancy my chances of flagging my opponent, but he's got over 8 minutes and an increment, so ain't gonna happen. It'd be nice to see his accuracy, though. I think he's definitely played a solid game. I also have a check on here. If the queen abandons the defense of this pawn, that might be an idea. That would be really good actually to pick up that pawn. Queen has to defend that. And notice the queen's still defending that pawn. Okay, he's moved out of the way. I'm not really threatening to take this. I don't want to trade queens. I don't think. Not when I'm a piece down. If we traded queens and rooks, and it came down to king, pawn and knight against king and two pawns, I think the knight is just too manoeuvrable to get out of that alive. Or from a cheeky draw. He's not gone for it. Okay, do we want to trade off? Win the pawn. He's actually threatening to come after this pawn now, I think. I think we just have to trade down and let's find out what happens in this ending. Try and trade the rooks if I can. So 3 attackers on here. I have to trade off now, I think. Maybe hit the knight. Start to make progress with my pawns. And while I've got the king and the rook, I need to make sure that easiest way to avoid knight forks is to keep them on opposite colours. But let's see if we can wrestle something out of this position. He's got that with check as the pawn's pinned. But now you have 50 moves. Still has that check. He's going to want to gang up on my pawns with... He really needs to be activating his king as well to use that as an attacker here. Okay, opposite colours. Oh, well, you can force the rooks off now, but that's not the end of the world. Is that? Hello. Okay, I'm going to get out of that issue. Rook can't block. Rook can block. Or knight. Now the knight is pinned. But I can't attack it. I can't attack it with my king. Because I can't threaten to take. Well, I mean, I guess if I could get my king next to it and it's still pinned, I'm threatening to take with the rook, yes. Could be interesting. The knight legally can't move, even though it would put me in check, it would put him in check at the same time, and it would still be an illegal move for white. If I come to here, all he has to do is that. I guess I could attack him with my pawn. If he goes here, the pin is out off anyway, so. Okay, there goes the king. Let's chuck in another check. Also, my king and my rook are just so far away from each other, there's no option of a knight pin. Knight fork, sorry. Alright. Let's come back. Chuck in a check. Hello, come on then. And another. Got to watch out. And another. There's no check by the rook, there's no check by the knight. Is it possible to force a draw? Okay, there's no threat there. I can chuck in another check. King can't go this way. Knight can't block. Okay, and another. Okay, we haven't had a capture or a pawn move now since move 39, so that's only 10 moves. If I check now, he's got to defend the knight. The knight's pinned. Let's do here, maybe king here. That's quite safe from the knight checks, you see, when the king's surrounded by pawns. Checks me, I've just got king g7. Maintaining the pin on the knight. King also has to defend the knight. He might defend it with a rook, so that the king can get away. But he needs a plan. I don't know what it is. He's pinned his knight again. Okay, just go here. Check, just go back. Knight still pinned. Okay. Check again, I guess. Okay, pin your knight again, be my guest. Having said this, there's no... I mean, my king now is somewhat out of squares. Do we go after his pawn? I'm not afraid of the rook immediately. That is mate though, isn't it? So I have to go here. If I take this, that is mate, yes? Because knight guards these. There's a name for that mate. He can check me, but then we could end up repeating. So the easiest way to get a draw would be by repetition. That'd be the quickest way. Okay. Okay, that's check. Ah. Oh. This and this is mate, yeah? It is. Wow, good stuff. He did it. He did it. He found a way. Fantastic. Wow. Well, I was impressed by my opponent's play in that game. 82 accuracy from white. And I got 75, and it had me at 1600. My opponent at 1850. Yeah, I thought that was... he felt a lot stronger than his rating. There were a couple of mistakes here that clearly I failed to capitalise on. So let's have a quick look. D3 book, FE book. D6 is good. Now he thought about this move. Okay. Alright, so I was happy at this point. That's inaccurate. And that's a mistake. Could have threatened winning a queen. How? Take the knight. Oh, what? Hang on. Okay, so this is... The knight's the only defender of the bishop. So if we take the knight, queen takes us back, we win a piece. Wow. Bishop e7 was the second best move. Okay, wow. So bishop takes f3. If they take our queen, we take their queen. And we've still won a piece. That's removing the defender. And I completely I didn't even consider that. It's a bit like an oh no my queen, but free piece. Wow. Okay. Well, that is just one to remember. But all in all, I don't know, my opponent played just so solidly through here. Rook g1 was a blunder, apparently, from them. Giving me the pawn. No, actually, at this point, white is only slightly better. Okay, trading queens is fine. Oh, yeah, I mean, I thought this was a losing position. It's just not. This is apparently completely drawable. Until I split my pawns. This is, you see how important the king was in this. Wow. Well, I don't know. It's very hard to say that was a fair game. But if it was, fantastic performance by my opponent. You know, can an 1150 play at 1850 level? Yes, it happens. Of course it does. I played at 1600 level, which I should. But yeah, just outplayed in that one. So there you go. 3 games, 2 wins, 1 loss. And the climb continues. Next time, we'll see you then.